All right, welcome everyone to another support and resistance training video. This video is going to be specifically important for everyone who is looking to learn how to trade support and resistance in the live markets. So the focus of this video is we're going to take a section of the market of previous data. We're going to section it off. We're going to plot our support and resistance levels based on our rules and conceptual understandings in that sectioned off zone of the market. And then we're going to look over, we're going to fast forward to see everything that happened after that, how the market played against those levels, and what the trading opportunities looked like. So this is going to be a very important video. Make sure you are taking notes. Watch this video several times over if you need to. This is going to be one of the most important videos for actually being able to use support and resistance in the live market. So with that being said, we're going to remain on the chart the entire video, and I've got USD JPY pulled up on the monthly time frame. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the beginning of time, the beginning of data over here, and we're just going to plot a vertical line right off in here, and we're going to use this data right here to the left of this vertical line to figure out what support and resistance levels we may have in the future on USD JPY. So we're back here in 1999. Let's plot our support and resistance levels on USD JPY in November of 99. So first of all, right up here at the very top, that's where I always like to start, we've clearly got an important level. So we're going to mark that right off the bat. And just so we are all completely clear, it's real simple. I'm just looking at this rejection right here and noting that price had come up. So let me go ahead and grab this. Price came all the way up, and then ultimately this was our peak in the market. This was the top, and we fell from there. So that's why I'm marking this as a likely important resistance level. So that's our first support and resistance level. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and move down from there. So I'm coming down. If you look right here, it looks like we had some kind of resistance right here that may become important. So let's zoom in. So show you what I'm looking at. Came up, came down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then up. So for those of you who aren't already familiar with how to read price action, this spot right here may confuse you, but if you don't understand why we're marking this level right here based on these two rejections, then go through the price action material and then come back to this video, and it'll be quite clear to you that these are indeed double top rejections right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to place a resistance right here, okay? This is a key resistance right here. And also, to help us with our case, we're noting a strong candle breach right here and a pretty strong candle breach right here as well. So again, helps build our confluence for this level. Now, we're going to keep going down. And the next thing I'm looking at is right over in this area right here. So I'm noting we had rejection right here, little break here, but ultimately rejection, and then we had a strong candle breach. We held as support, and then again resistance, resistance, resistance. So this whole area in here was resistance. So to me, this right here looks like a solid support and resistance level to have marked. Now, the next level that I'm going to be looking at, so we'll clone here, bring us on down. Looks like there's a clear level right in here, and this is probably my favorite level. Let's see if we can get it a little exact, something right about there. So again, so that we're clear, resistance, 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 and then when we broke, we retested as support, came back, found support, came back, found support. So I like this level. It's showing support and resistance pretty well. This is an important level to have marked. Next level. There's something right off in here. So what I'm looking at right here is that we had support right here, and then we had a strong candle breach right here, and then we held as resistance. Turn this way actually. We held a resistance right here and right here. I'm looking at these interactions and thinking this is an important level to have marked. And then finally, I'm going to go ahead and mark the low down here. All right. Now I went a little faster in this video marking these because I'm assuming at this point, if you're watching this video, you have some kind of idea about how these are marked, how we identify these, and what you need to be looking for. The purpose of this video is not to teach how to mark these. That's in other videos. The purpose of this video is to show the process of marking these based on the rules and then how they're actually going to play out in the live market. So I haven't actually looked over to the right and seen how each of these levels play out, so we're going to be doing this live together. So now let's pull back out. Let's come over here and see how things worked. So already you can tell that this is highly accurate. There's a lot of pinpoint reactions on these levels. And keep in mind, this vertical line right here, we didn't see anything to the right of this. So check this out right off the bat. Price came down to our support, held as we would expect. Then what happened? Then price rose to our next resistance level, bounced very hard, came all the way back down, about to our support, where we then found support again, and then back up to the resistance. Now when we broke, notice how solid candle breach, that's what we like to see. And then where did we go before finding resistance? Up to our next resistance level, which we had already had marked back in 99. Now we went slightly past the resistance level, okay? Keep in mind though, these are zones, because if you look back, we already knew, looking at this spot right here, that this zone probably looks something more like this, okay? Including this area right here. So we already knew that this was a zone. So highly accurate. Highly accurate. Note the accuracy here. We came down, okay? We didn't make it all the way back down to support, but that's okay. You won't always make it all the way back. At the time, price had actually formed a new level in here. But we broke through with a strong candle, and where did we end up? Our next significant support and resistance zone that, again, we marked back in 99, all right? 3 years prior to this event right here. Price fell from our resistance, hit our support, broke through very nicely, and then what did it do? Price broke through, retested twice, held at resistance, came back to our support. So here again, you're able to see price holding at this level very nicely, both ways. It's just incredible. And then we break through our support here with a solid candle, and it was a breach. And then what does price do? Price comes through, retest, finds resistance, retest, finds resistance, retest, finds resistance, comes down to our support, finds support, and goes back up to our resistance. Remember, the market is always moving between support and resistance. That's all it's doing, moving between different kinds of support and resistance. So look at this. We get a break of our resistance, and then when we get a break of our resistance, the market comes up, not quite to the resistance, comes back to our recent support and resistance level, and now that the level's beneath us, what do we expect it will act as? Of course, we're expecting it will hold a support, and what does it do? Holds a support. So then we continue on, and where do we go? Our next resistance level. And what happens? What happens? We hold as resistance. And where do we go? We go back down to our support, bounce a little bit, break through, retest, it holds its resistance. Where do we go? Support. Where do we go from support? resistance. Where do we go from resistance? Back down to support. When we break support, we come down, and I'll get to that in a second. Let me go ahead and update our interactions here. So we had our nice interaction here, as we'd expect, as we would expect, as we would expect. And then down here, what happens? We break through. Let's go ahead and get rid of that yellow line. And then, so we break through, retest as resistance, hold at resistance, come down to support. Bounce from support, we end up breaking through, and then we hold as resistance and fall some more. So I hope you guys are noting as we go here. We're going a little faster, but we're just kind of going with the flow of the market, looking how price is reacting at the levels that we drew back when? Back in 99. We're now in 2011, 12 years ago. And look, 12 years ago, we formed a new support down here, by the way. We formed a new support down here. We didn't have this mark before because if you go back, we didn't have any data down here. So we found support right here. And where do we go from support? To the resistance that we had marked. Then we went back down to support, broke through with a strong candle, and when we broke, where did we go? To the next resistance. This was May of 2013 right here. Guys, this was 14 years ago. We had marked these levels up. And look how well they're being respected. 14 years later. 14 years later, price found resistance at our resistance, broke through with a strong candle, retested to find us support, and then went on to the next resistance. And now we're in October of 2014, so we're actually 15 years. Incredible. Incredible. 15 years later, when we break our resistance, we go to that resistance that we had marked 15 years ago. Find resistance, fly back down to support. We break support, retest, come back down to our next support. Incredible. 16 years ago now. 16 years ago. Look at this. Almost to the live market here. We find support, we come back up, bust through the resistance, and then recently we've been whipsawing a little bit around this area. The reason why we've been whipsawing a bit is because we missed an important level in here. If I zoom back out, you will see there's clearly a level right in here. Okay? Let me get rid of these arrows here. All right. Let's get rid of this yellow line too. All right, so let's zoom out. How incredible was this? How incredible was this? We marked up these lines from back here in 99. We were using information from 1993 to 1999, and we used it to trade successfully all the way up to current day 2019. 20 years of data followed these market principles of horizontal support and resistance. Incredible. Being able to understand the concepts of support and resistance, being able to successfully plot your support and resistance using techniques that we teach you, and then taking advantage of this information to trade, it's game over. Now, anytime you look at live examples like we just did, where you mark up support and resistance and then you go look and see what happened afterwards, you're going to find areas where price didn't respond well at your level. It goes back to other lessons we've had where it's not going to work 100% of the time. But if it works 75% of the time and you're able to capitalize on it 75% of the time, at the end of the day, you make a lot of money. Life-changing money. And so what it's about is understanding and accepting when it works, when it doesn't work, and keeping your competitive edge in the market. Now, your job, if you have trouble applying support and resistance to your live market trading, this is the exercise that I want you to practice. Go anywhere, any market, doesn't matter. Any time frame, any market, whatever you want to pull it up. You can pull up cotton, oil, USD JPY, USD Mexican peso, Tesla, Amazon, does not matter. Pull up the chart, go anywhere you want to go, somewhere that you have not seen, drop a vertical line. Don't look to the right of the vertical line. Plot your support and resistance on the left. Take your time. Go back and look at as much data as you want to get the levels you think are really important. And then scroll to the right and see how those levels played out. How did price react at those levels? What trades would you have taken based on those levels? How did those trades work out? You can then refine your levels until you're able to do it consistently profitably. That's the exercise you need to work on to be able to trade support and resistance consistently profitably in the live markets.